Although traditionally viewed as an integral organization within communities across the country, the church as an institution in the United States has seen a sharp and steady decline over the last few decades as membership drops and participation fades. Oh, hello! Welcome to a behind the scenes look at the filmmaking process. And when I say filmmaking, oftentimes you have a whole huge ginormous crew, which I've worked with and enjoyed before, or like it is now, it's just me and my camera and a computer. And even right now, I'm talking to this microphone and it's going into this computer, and it has nothing to do with the recording I'm posting to TikTok or social media. And that microphone is where I really need to be concentrating. But because I'm listening to my ears and it going through this computer, I feel like I need to talk into it right here. So forgive me, but that's the process. What I'm doing is giving you, the viewer, a behind the scenes look at the filmmaking process. And it's just going to be about recording my voice as narration to go over the film, which is a process in itself. And I'm doing this because I have a committee of 5 professors who aren't necessarily familiar with the filmmaking process. And I want them to know how hard I'm working because it is extremely labor intensive. And I want to clarify because one of the professors made a comment saying, well, we don't want you to just go press record and record some things at the church on your dissertation and then bring it back and put some things together and say, oh, you got a dissertation. I'm like, no. Filmmaking is very difficult and labor intensive. It's as hard as writing a dissertation. So to clarify, for those of you who don't know, I'm writing a traditional dissertation, which I'm going to turn into a book about the resilient church and helping churches prepare to be resilient to outlast crisis and things such as the challenges that we have during COVID. But I'm also making a film to go along with the dissertation, the written portion that I'm doing here. But I want to show you how difficult and complicated, how labor intensive it is, okay? So this is just the voiceover process. So what I'm doing is the first thing, like a dissertation, you got to write everything out, okay? You got to write and plan. I don't just talk. I had to write everything out. And I've got the script here on the computer that I'm going to be reading as I go along. And then this computer through the microphone records it. For those of you who don't know, if you're not in the film biz, okay, what I'm doing is I've got this professional microphone here, which is very good quality. And you got to do all sorts of annoying things. Like I can't have my dogs running around in the background. I can't have the air conditioner going. It's got to be quiet in this house in the country here. My chickens can't be squawking. And then I talk into it. This right here is a pop filter because a lot of times when you talk and you talk, the force comes out of your mouth, especially with P sounds. Like I'm a powerful person, and you can't hear it obviously because it's not going into this microphone. But you know when you have that P sound that pops, I'm a powerful person. It sounds really annoying in here. A lot of the times this pop filter can stop some of that. Okay, but then we also have to go back into the computer, and remove those pop sounds. But basically, what I would do is write my script for parts of the film, and then I would record it, which is what I was doing at the very beginning when you saw this video coming on. So at this point, I'm talking about church data and the background of churches, because I'm studying why the church is declining in this country over the last 2 or 3 decades. It's steadily and continuously declining, okay? So I would hit record on here, and I'm watching the wave thing go to make sure I'm recording, and I would start talking. Although traditionally viewed as an integral organization within communities across the country, the church as an institution in the United States has seen a sharp and steady decline over the last few decades. The church as an institution in the United States has seen a sharp and steady decline over the last few decades. So what I'm doing now that I've got my voice recorded is I'm going back through checking for any of those P pop sounds. And I'm also going through the EQ process where I'm tweaking things to where it's not just me talking into a microphone. I'm making it sound a lot better to where it's professional, it's full, it has a lot of depth to it. And I'm taking out any of the spaces where you might hear me clearing my throat like that right there. And I'm definitely not an expert at this, but I've learned over the years how to do a lot of these tips and tricks for audio to make things sound a lot better. So when we listen to it, although traditionally viewed as an integral organization within communities across the country, one of the things I will do is I'll go into the effects and I will normalize it, meaning some of these spaces, some of these times I'll talk a little bit louder and you can see the bigger waveform, and some of these times I will talk quieter. And what we really wanted to do is be consistently across the timeline there. So we're going to normalize that, and we're going to actually amplify it a little bit louder so everything's the same after that. And it seems like I'm just clicking a lot of buttons right now, but really this is a very long, annoying process. But what I'll do here is, you can't hear it on the iPhone, so I'm going to zoom into the very beginning. Traditionally, so on this T here, you can kind of hear where there's a bigger pop. So what I got to do is I got to zoom in and I got to highlight this T, and then I'm going to remove that pop in the beginning by using what I call 100 hertz rumble, and take that out to where it just smooths it a little bit. Although traditionally viewed as an integral organization within communities. That's better. Okay. And I have like a list of things that I do on just the audio editing.
The church as an institution in the United States has seen a sharp and steady decline over the last few decades.
So now what I've done is I have brought that footage that I recorded, or the audio that I recorded, put it into the computer and imported it into this program here, to where I'm lining up what I have said with the appropriate space in the timeline over the images, where I'm talking about, for this example, the churches and what's going on with the background and the history and why churches are declining right now. So that is a tedious process where I have to piece in all these little clips and edit them into the right spot. It's a lot like writing a dissertation paper. You got to put things in, make sure they're in the right spot, and make it sound like it flows, okay? But if we are moving along, then perhaps
4 in 10 adults considering religion important in their lives. The Pew Research Center predicts that the number of U.S. Christians will fall below 50% of the population by 2070 if the trend continues.
Okay.
There is a declining median worship attendance among U.S. congregations. In 2000, Sunday morning attendance averaged 137 people per church. In 2020, before the COVID pandemic, it was 65. It has only gone down since then.
It's really a traumatic time, I think, for congregations. There has been about a 30-year period where many congregations, especially in the mainline Protestant world, have been in decline.
The challenge is, as a graduate student, I'm still working off this old editing laptop here, and you can hear it probably running very loudly as the the cooling system in it is running full stream, and it's like, I'm hoping this computer hangs on so I can finish my dissertation, because this is like the only thing that I've got to have these backup drives that can hook to this computer.
Those congregations have been aging. There are fewer young people coming in, and the people who are there are no longer having children, and therefore, over time, these congregations are shrinking. But that same dynamic is also beginning to happen more so in more conservative Protestant congregations, and also in the Catholic and Orthodox world. Consequently, it doesn't look great for a lot of American churches.
So that's an inside look there at the filmmaking process. Remember, it's just what I have to do for the voice-over narration. Just that has been a huge process, which I enjoy, but I'm just telling you, it takes a long time. So if you are one of the 5 professors on my dissertation committee, please know that I'm working very hard. Okay, see the anxiety and the stress on my face, and just know that I'm enjoying it and it's moving along, and I think I'm in a very good spot. I would say it's the second draft of my written dissertation and film that are very close to being complete. If you are anyone else, thank you for joining me on this behind the scenes with Andrew Christjoy, the dissertation filmmaker guy who is writing a dissertation and making a film.